What's good, everyone? You're listening to WKNC 88.1 FM HD1 Raleigh. We are a student-run, nonprofit radio station based out of North Carolina State University. I'm Plover, and this is Off the Record. I am very fortunate here to be with the one and only Suki Waterhouse. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm very, very good.
Well, who are you and kind of where are you from? It knows who you are. What's a great couple sentence elevator pitch?
I am, yeah, I'm very English. I'm from London, and I was grew up in a place called Chiswick, which is sort of kind of 20 minutes outside of actual London, so sort of suburban enough, but close enough to London to be able to you know, run out the door and hop on a bus and and be able to get back in the morning without your parents knowing.
Nice. Well, that is as English as it gets. That's very true. So what exactly are you doing around the North Carolina parts?
Well, I've been on tour, I guess, for the last 2 months with Father John Misty. Do you know Father John Misty?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, somehow yeah, we've been all around North America. He's been in a lovely buses, and I've been in the craziest, somehow the most craziest broken down bus you've ever seen in your life, which doesn't have enough beds in it or kind of water or anything like that. So I've had the full brilliant North American tour the last 2 months, and tonight we're in Durham for the last show, and Durham's actually a really special place to me because this is where I actually made my first album.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I made it with Brad Cook. I don't know if you know him. He's produced. He was kind of like I wasn't actually kind of ever connected to him from knowing anyone, but he was somebody like in my ether in a lot of ways. He used to be Sharon Van Etten's guitarist, and I'm a huge fan of Sharon Van Etten. And he's produced with her. He's produced with Bon Iver. He produced the Wakahatchki album, Snail Mail, and so and actually a band called His Golden Messenger, and it was that album that he produced with him that I just kept listening to constantly. And when I was thinking about how to how to the next steps with these recordings that I had from the last couple of years, it was the song Cat's Eye Blue by His Golden Messenger that I kept listening to, and I saw that it was produced by Brad Cook, and I managed to get him on the phone, and somehow through a bit of I think I had one other friend that he'd worked with, Dave Sittick from TV on the Radio, and I got Dave to kind of push him too, and then I ended up being in Durham for 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. So we're all big fans of His Golden Messenger here for sure. Well, great local artist. Do they inspire, or any other artists that kind of inspired I guess the sound off of that record?
Yeah, I loved the kind of the kind of brain cave that I felt. I felt like when I was listening to that record that I was disappearing down someone's brain cave in this very in this kind of, it kind of felt quite like David Lynch as well. And I love the sounds of, I was kind of looking for something that I think that record sort of felt like a table, when you're pulling a tablecloth and there's a little bit extra that you got to pull out, and it felt like sorry, my brain uses quite strange analogies, but that was
that made perfect sense.
Thank you. That was who I'd been listening to constantly, and when me and Brad sort of talked on the phone before I even met him, because it's quite a strange thing to not meet somebody, and I'd been quite I worked with a bunch of different producers, because I didn't really come from I haven't really known a lot of people to work with, because I started my early career in life actually not in music, So it's sort of been like the last year is when I made my record, and things like, it was like a kind of surprise to me that that I would even be like performing live or going on tour or anything like that.
Awesome. So yeah, what inspired this kind of like shift towards music for you?
Well, I had been writing for a long time. I think probably since I remember, 16, 17, and I was always, when I was like younger or whatever, I was always doing like everything that that was kind of like where I thought I would be. And then my life like took a very different it took like a very different path. I think like I was a very angsty kind of angry, anxious teenager, and I think I like really, I really, it was, I wanted to like run out the house, and the first thing I ran into was like modeling, and I started doing that, and then I had like, I had a few years where that was kind of like marginally, I did pretty good at that for a while, um, and like my life, I think my life became quite public, quite young, and there was a lot of chaos. um, and in that chaos, I think, it was like that kind of painful thing of like trying to grow up and like just make all of the mistakes of, like dating the wrong people, and creating having like a very destructive, like quite a destructive kind of path for a long time. And I think the one thing that I had the whole time was being able to go and write music, and I would do it. I would do it all the time, and it was like the one thing that also just didn't have like it was nobody else was like involved in that time. So I was just writing and writing, and then I remember I put the first song out. It's called Brutally in 2016, and that was like when one day I was like, okay, I'm sorry, can I say I shouldn't should have.
I can censor.
Okay, sorry. I should, when I just thought like, what have you got to lose at this point? Like, just put a song up there, like got DistroKid on, made a video, put it out, and that was, and from there I started putting out one every year, and um and from these like little like little it was like I kind of incrementally got a little bit more confident putting music out, and it was just always this like big weight after that, and there still wasn't there was like I kind of gathered, I think, this small group, but like it was like I guess like a small group of us people that were finding out about the music. And to be honest, like they were also the ones that like helped that confidence to get to a place where I was like, it's okay, I can put this out, like it's but there was a ton of like fear and anxiety and insecurity about like, you're like you're just like a model and da da da, and like please don't do this. And I totally get that, and it's still like something that that I think is like,
that kind of thing doesn't really like go
it doesn't
away.
really go away where but everyone is, you basically just realize that everyone feels like a hack and an imposter, and we're all winging it. So
Might as well, full send that out. I understand like later this year you're dropping like an EP of like older stuff. Is that like kind of coming out?
Yeah. It's called Milk Teeth, and that's those are the songs that were really kind of they were like, I like thinking of them as like I have like my baby teeth. But those were like the first songs that I really like wrote and put out, and they kind of didn't really ever get that they were sort of, they were put out just like myself, and they didn't. It's funny actually, like with one of the songs from that EP, like 7 years later, just and it's fun. I can't believe that it happened to me, but like it blew up on TikTok, and
Oh, yeah.
it's the strangest thing. Like I didn't even have the app, and then the song that I'd written 7 years ago was suddenly like it went to #1 in the state, like crazy,
Okay.
crazy. So yeah, these old songs um that are like actually my favorite
Yeah.
ones. I think it's always kind of like hard to reenact like what you were making when you were in like when you were like making music in your apartment and
Yeah.
literally just doing it out of when you're in like the worst crappiest place in your life. Like those songs are really like special to me. So yeah, I'm really lucky that now we get to release them on vinyl.
And they didn't accidentally get deleted off a random hard drive.
Yeah, well,
We do love that.
yeah, exactly. Well, when I made the current album with the one with Brad Cook, and I made that independently, and I didn't think that I was gonna find a label or anything. And then um when I made it, that then Sub Pop found out about it, and that's when we when I went to Sub Pop, they were a great label. Like I'm very, very lucky to be with them. Um, but it was kind of like, oh, let's have a clean slate and clean everything off and like delete all the old stuff, all the old stuff. And it's like, oh God, I'm so glad that we didn't, because now like the biggest song that I'll probably ever have is one of the oldest ones. So that's a kind of cool thing about it's like kind of cool thing about the internet, I guess. At the moment, it's like you don't really know when your older music might be
Yeah,
come back
or when
around.
like running up that hill becomes #1 just out of nowhere. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
anything can happen. So yeah, you did mention you have a new album, well, new for this year coming out. I Can't Let Go. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. So can you tell us kind of a little bit about like I guess thematically what that album really is?
I Can't Let Go is it was really like I think like um everything that album kind of encompasses, I think, was about it was like centered around a relationship that I had in my early 20s, which was like very um that I think that like yeah, I think it was my reaction to not being able to speak about this relationship that was like incredibly difficult, and actually like for probably for like yeah, for like the good part of my 20s, to be honest, I've been kind of trying um to understand it, and as I get older, like I've been much more able to see that like actually when I was writing this album, it was like I was very locked into the the constraints that like kind of narcissism and being with someone that's like incredibly like kind of sociopathic, to be honest, like and how long that how like that it stayed with me for a long time. And yeah, I guess even until I was putting that record out, it was all about like how I won't be able to let go, and I wanted to write all these songs that kept me being able to re like basically to be able to like sing about this relationship all the time, and like kind of go over it constantly. And then music has like a really magical way of working, because I really believe in this, like if you can, like I think I was needling myself constantly, and like and sometimes from making the music, like I could start singing a song and I wouldn't feel the same things anymore. And then, but then there's always this like doorway open. I think sometimes on stage you like catch yourself you're like, oh, that bit hasn't gone yet, and it hits you again. But yeah, I think I was like really needling myself. It was like I was trying to like, yeah, try and like excavate myself to try and find out like and I felt like I would not be able to. It felt like I was just like stuck in this machine that was like that it was never like I wasn't going to be able to like break out of it. And that is, yeah, that's the incredible thing about music. And like I got to like externalize it and I think memorialize it too in this record. And um I really feel like it gave me this huge gift because like it I really think there's something. It's not just like putting it out. I think like other. I really do believe in like the energy of it and how like things in real life will suddenly like be shown to you and through like the art that you've made. Sounds like really woo, but like but whatever I'm trying to say is that like somehow from putting this record on like out like so many things became like very clear to me, very like shown to me, and I have been able to like so cheesy. Yeah, it's. I think it's been let go.
The cliches are true. That's
Yes,
great.
it's super cliche. It's all true. It's cheesy.
That's also like it's an interesting one to like externalize because it's not like a like a breakup song. It's not like a love song. There's weird like kind of like just relationship song that must have been interesting to like I guess write about, like turning that in like a verse or chorus about like I guess a time in your life that's like kind of complicated.
A verse and a chord. Wait, which one are
Sorry,
we
no,
talking about?
I just meant like turning like a weird time into like how like a song structure works and like
Hmm.
that must have been an interesting one to like
Yeah,
kind of get out there.
yeah. Some of the songs I think like a lot. I think sometimes like the way I write is kind of sitting down. Um, Usually like sitting down at the piano and I will just like let a stream of consciousness come for like at least like yeah like sit there for at least like half an hour if you're going to just do one and see what comes out of there. And then sometimes like something will move you so quickly that like a night spent with one person is like there's a song called "This Place on the World" where I remember I literally like went home or like went to like the bathroom or something and wrote down everything this person had said, everything we talked about, and that was like the entire song. I was like, I don't want to uh, change it from this, and like it has to fit, and yeah, I love writing it. But
So it was like actual like sentences like that was like exchanged.
it was just like yeah, it was like sentences that exchange or like what we talked about
Yeah.
and like things that he'd said, things that I'd said. Um, but kind of it was just like yeah, it was like the next morning, just like oh, this is what happened.
Wow. That's a new one for how to write songs. It's really cool. Let's see. What exactly? I remember going through the album listening and wondering what exactly a Melrose Meltdown is. I saw that phrase. I didn't really know what that one meant.
A Melrose Meltdown, I guess, for me was well, I went and lived in LA when I was 21, and yeah, I basically like I kind of left, yeah, I left like London and went and lived with a boyfriend there for like 2 years. I was for, and I, yeah, I'd never been to. I think like America had been kind of like this myth land that I really, like for English people, it's kind of like you think of the States as like when you're growing up, it's like Disneyland or something. There's like, it's in movies and you have pictures of New York on your wall and stuff like that. It's all very cringe, but but that was yeah the first few years that I spent in LA, and kind of the epic meltdown breakup, which was like incredibly dramatic at the time and like yeah involved a lot of like running out of hotels and living like um that kind of scenery. So that yeah, Melrose Meltdown was a kind of like a was was like kind of yeah the slogan for like the image that I had of myself or what was true of like kind of running down Melrose Avenue, just crying a lot.
I see Melrose is a place in LA. That all tracks now. Okay,
Mhm.
I had not heard of Melrose.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Melrose Avenue.
Okay. Um, you also, as I understand, released a music video for your song Nostalgia recently. That
Mhm.
looked like a really cool, like a very like ethereal, like, where was it? Was it Ireland? Was it filmed?
It was in Ireland,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
So
sounds
my
fun.
friend Fruz, with this is actually our fifth. This is our fifth music video together, and we actually met. We met. Uh, we met in LA years ago, but she has recently moved to Ireland, because she got a gorgeous boyfriend there, and she's like packed up and moved to Ireland. She's always like, you've got to come to Ireland. So we shot the video in the middle of this tour. Actually, we all had a week
Oh
off,
yeah.
and we went to Ireland, and we wanted to make something that kind of it follows quite a story. We were kind of very into um, thinking about like Orpheus crossing the Styx and um, Wuthering Heights, and really we were like making a video that I kind of wanted to. I think like during the pandemic, that was when I wrote the song, and it started to feel like when like everyone from your past like started reaching out, and everything before pandemic feels like nostalgic to me. It's like really like just an entirely different time of like how we all were. I don't know if you
Yeah,
feel
no,
like.
yeah, this has been like a decade in like the past like 2 years.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure.
And yeah, and also just like yeah, kind of like people rising from the woodwork that you like haven't thought about, like the
Yeah.
people that kind of maybe like hold a flame for you in some way. So that was when I wrote the song, and I kind of, yeah, I started thinking about like uh, that feeling that I was having, um, that people have been like feeling this for so long, and I got very into I kind of was researching nostalgia, and I didn't know that it used to be considered medically as a disease.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's crazy, and people, and people experience it even in their, people, you can experience it even in your own hometown, or if you've never moved. It's kind of like, I think it started happening a lot when there was like industrial revolution and things started changing so much. But yeah, I wanted to make a video that kind of like it kind of it's very like dramatic and kind of cheesy in a way, and I kind of was looking for that in the video. I wanted it to sort of feel like when your like face gets red and misty and there's a lump in your throat, and um there's like a song that you still have like on tape or something
Yeah.
that's like nearly broken, that in the car that you still have that has a tape to it.
Those are the very nostalgic moments, yeah, for sure. That, like, at the time were probably weird, and looking back are probably weird, but now that there's more years between them, they're kind of wow. I kind of miss that, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. You're also like you have like movies coming out? Question mark. That's crazy. Yeah,
Uh,
we love that. Something premiered at TIFF recently that you were in.
oh yeah, that was Darlingland. Yeah,
Yeah, awesome.
that was great. I've worked with Mary Herring. Do you know Mary Herring? She directed American Psycho,
Yes.
and I did another movie with her like a couple of years ago. But yeah, this one's Darlingland with Ben Kingsley in it, which was, I mean, getting to work with him was
Yeah.
unbelievable. Just watching him act and getting to be in scenes with him, crazy. But yeah, that was great, and that just premiered at TIFF, and then I've got a show next year called Daisy Jones and the Six, which is a great book that is coincidentally all about a band. So my two worlds like really collided into each other. It was an incredible experience actually, because Blake Mills has written all the music for it and made a 12-song album for the show. And then they had us rehearsing. This is really rare for TV or movies to say like, oh, we want you to rehearse for months and months and months, and then it got pushed, so we came back. So we probably did about 6 months of in Sound City Studios, which is like where Fleetwood Mac
Wow.
met. We had like crazy legends making music, like recording the albums just in the next studios, and all of us were in there, yeah, getting really good, and it was a great opportunity for me because they were like, I play Karen, so I played the pianist, so I was yeah, learning piano for 6 months, and like went from really not playing that much to being able to do like Bach pieces, which then obviously like, you know, they get you to learn and then they're like, well, actually we're cutting that bit. But it's great either way.
Yeah, the memories remain for sure. And we mentioned earlier you're on a tour. That tour's kind of, I guess, wrapping up right around now. I guess in the South, you're playing Atlanta last night. How was that?
Atlanta said that this is our last night tonight.
Yeah. Awesome.
Going home tomorrow.
And you played the Ryman recently? That's crazy.
Yeah, we played the Ryman. Yeah, 2 nights ago we played the Ryman.
Really recently.
I know. I couldn't believe it actually. It was. But none of this stuff is really like sunk in yet. It's so. It's crazy to me. Like, and also, you know, being with Father John Misty, like I've probably been playing 300 max, like rooms, like about 300, and then and also not for that long, and then like our first day was Red Rocks, and yeah, Red Rocks, yeah. So it's literally just been like, oh, I'm on a tour of like every iconic huge place, like Radio City Hall, oh my goodness, like the Ryman, like wow. And it's, yeah, it's been really great as well, because you know, like most of the time, uh you're supporting someone else, so you're going into rooms where like most, you know, some people come and see for you, but like most people aren't, and that's been a great, actually like a really valuable kind of way to go into this stuff, I think, because it's kind of like, yeah, like I'm really at the beginning of my whole of all of this, and yeah, I'm like learning a lot about what makes a good show, and that's like a lot of love, tricks, like um flow, there's so many things that I'm really excited to take away from this first tour, and for the next one I'm gonna go to, I've got Europe, a Europe tour in November.
And you're headlining that one, right?
That'll be headline, yeah, and it's also only a week, so it's a little different.
Like just use all those tricks for sure. And I've seen Father John Misty live. It was very great, and I'm sure you learned a lot.
Oh my goodness, isn't he incredible?
He's such a good dancer.
He's such a good dancer, and he does, it's like annoying how good a dancer he is. He's like just naturally, he's like very good at just like, his feet are always tapping in this beautiful way. He's like lightly gyrating in all the right places. It's stunning, and also his voice is like, the, you know, for like 2 hours he's just impeccably smooth crooner.
Nice. Let's see. I really like your Twitter account, first of all. I'm a massive fan of that. Do you like make the memes yourself?
I do make the memes myself.
Yeah.
I do make the memes myself. I just wait. I like. It's actually great just lying on the bus, because I get to have like hours of time on like making all the memes. But yeah, sometimes I usually I kind of make all of them, and then I'll just like spunk them all too quickly in one go. But yeah, I enjoy being on Twitter. Like I wasn't really active for like years, and then I don't know. I think like a lot of stuff like around music. Like I was very like I was like I did spend a lot of my early 20s like very afraid to send a tweet, or like, you know, the social media stuff can like it does like drive you crazy. Like I think it drives everyone a little bit crazy, and yeah, I felt like in the last few years I just was like, oh, it's just like, you know, we can just be be silly and fun, and that's kind of been nice.
Yeah, because when you first said you enjoyed being on Twitter, like the only happy Twitter person, but yeah, no, that does make sense. Yeah, it's kind of like a cleansing thing recently.
Yeah.
So, we are coming out around time now. Is there anything else you wanted to discuss?
Anything else that I would like to discuss? I think we've had. I think we've covered most of it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like?
I was gonna ask this.
Yeah.
I've noticed for a lot of British artists, kind of like slip into an American accent on like recording. Did you like
Mm.
consciously like notice that like happening?
I think
Because
it's
I know
just
your
from
songs sound.
listening to so many like
Yeah.
the people that I like. Like I love Lucinda Williams. Like I literally follow her around, go and see all her shows. Like I love Lucinda Williams. I I'm so not her, but you know, like I love Sheryl Crow, like Alanis Morissette. She's Canadian, but um, Fiona Apple, people like that. I think it just yeah, I think it just happens. And I also have tried. I did this song recently, which was like I was just making it the other day, and it's like all these kind of I did it in an entirely like my accent, which is pretty like it's pretty British, and it sounds so silly. Like I think like a few words here and there, but like the whole thing is just quite overwhelming. Yeah, I think it just happens naturally.
Okay. Yeah, just
Shall I try for the next record to just go
just go
go
full
full
Brit.
English?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That could be the name of the record. Full
full
English. Yeah,
English.
yeah. Be here for that. We mentioned a Twitter account stuff. Do you want to let people know like where to find your music, what like your social?
My Instagram handle is Suki Waterhouse. My Twitter is also Suki Waterhouse, and my Spotify is Suki Waterhouse.
Well, yeah, thank you so much for talking. So
Thank you.
fun.
Thank
I appreciate you all tuning in, and you can check out all the interviews I and everyone here does at WKNC.org/podcast and click on Off the Record. I'm DJ Plover, and I've been here with Suki Waterhouse on WKNC 88.1 FM HD1 Raleigh.